with the new beginnings, there's this energy that shifted, there's a new wave of energy that's here, that those who have done the work, and when we say doing the work, as in looking at their soul evolution, thank you, their soul evolution, and the recycling, it's on there. So it's a lot about that energy moving forward next year. So if you get the nudge that you feel, I don't know if I would say it in that word, don't think it gets any better by you just sitting back and allowing it to happen. You've got to get off your butts basically and make those changes. It's really important that you do it now, because there's always going to be a repeating cycle. There's always going to be a repeating cycle. When I say about new energy, how you're moving into it, it feels like that as a collection or a collective, thank you, as a collective, the energy has shifted so much, thank you, on the planet over this last year in particular, but over the last couple of years. But they're sort of saying how there's been this big shift in energy, and it's making a big difference now to each and every one of you. Okay, thank you. And it's highlighting something that's come up for you now. So there'll be your own personal journey, of course, of life and how things are changing for you, and as you are moving forward, a lot of new beginnings. That's surrendering, letting go of old beliefs. This will be letting go of what no longer serves you. So it's a real clean out now, tidy up. It's like, I always see it like a spring clean. It feels as if like want to tidy things up at the moment, sort of put things away, get rid of things that are no longer serving you. So anything that's not any purpose anymore in your life, it's about clearing it out, sort of clearing out the old cupboards, clearing out, you can do the practical things. Also people as well, thank you. They sort of said people, friendships, things that are no longer working. It's a time that to move forward. So it's about letting go of what no longer serves you. That's going to be really important. Okay, thank you. Now they're also referencing some of the clients that I saw today, and one in particular, and this is something I was writing after the session of this individual. I always feel there's a bigger message for everyone when I see individuals from around the world, and one of the biggest things was this gentleman that I saw today, and his father was sort of holding back in spirit. It didn't sort of come so close forward and was sort of really holding back, and there was a lady here, and I kept on hearing mother's mother, and evidence was, yes, it was his grandmother that had brought him up, the gentleman he was just talking to, and so his grandmother was there, and then there was another lady that stood by, and I kept on hearing sister, mother's sister, and it was his auntie. And then I could still feel the energy of this man in the distance in the background, and I was talking to him about it, and I kept on hearing father, it's your father. And the gentleman in front of me must have been in his 40s, sort of that age group. And his father was like questioning whether he could step forward or not, come much closer in the session to communicate with him. And one of the biggest things that came up from the session, and what this gentleman already had said to me, and I've been told by my guides many times, is that you're here on planet Earth as a soul. You're here to embark on life. It's that experience life. It's really important to experience it. Thank you. What someone said, warts and all, very, very important. It's really important to experience life. And if you think, thank you, and if you think that you're getting out of all the problems and you don't want to go through life, and you think you take the exit sign out, you know, you get off the freeway and you leave earlier, that's not actually solving any issue, because your soul hasn't addressed what's coming up for you. So there may be something in your life that needs to be addressed. So for this gentleman that was on the other side, after we spoke for about an hour, you know, well, quicker than that, but when we finished the session, he felt that he had done a lot of healing. So when this gentleman was leaving the planet, before he left the planet, you know, he was suffering with cancer, and that was why he was going to pass over. But he had spent most of his life moaning and saying how life, the way it mistreated him, how, you know, it was that very victim mentality, feeling that, you know, everything that he touched was going wrong, and always said that he was going to do something with his life but never did anything. So his children, which is the gentleman that was sitting with me today, the byproduct of that was some of the beliefs that this gentleman held about life, and it was quite interesting. And when I was communicating with him and his father was sort of saying it's taken him a very long time to sort of heal on this side. And the session when we was talking to the gentleman, my client, it's been 12 years since he passed, but this gentleman on this side, it hadn't felt that he had done a lot of progress on the other side, because he was waiting for this conversation with his son. So today, when I was communicating with the pair of them, I could feel that the energy of the information that his father could say to him today was doing a lot of healing. So we've got a lot of healing going on the planet at the moment. And what they're saying to me is that while you're here having this experience, thank you. Someone just said, I don't know if I would say it in that word, don't think it gets any better by you just sitting back and allowing it to happen. You've got to get off your butts basically and make those changes. It's really important that you do it now, because there's always going to be a repeating cycle. There's always going to be a repeating cycle. So whatever you don't address while you're here, you know, your soul leaves your physical vessel, and then it still needs to deal with it. It still needs to find out how do I work through this problem. So, you know, his father for the last 12 years has been, you know, stuck in this time and on a big loop, sort of saying he never did what he wanted to do in life. So their message today is really about not putting things to one side, not putting things off, not thinking it's going to get better and then I'll do whatever I've got to do, not waiting around. It's like you have got to create that opportunity. You've got to create that moment. You've got to be part of that moment. You've got to do it yourself right now. Don't think that somebody else is going to offer you something, or you know, there's going to be an opportunity what comes up. You've got to create that opportunity. And this is the time when they're saying it's about put yourself out there, because there's, with the new beginnings, there's this energy that shifted. There's a new wave of energy that's here, that those who have done the work, and when we say doing the work, as in looking at their soul evolution, thank you, their soul evolution. If you're doing that soul evolution, if you're looking at your journey of where you've come from, I used an exercise with this gentleman today because it helped him, and there was another lady as well. In some of the groups, some of the classes, I sort of say bring a photograph of yourself going back many years ago, and then look at that as a snapshot of something in your life which you had encountered. And then as you move forward, you look back at yourself and see how far you've come. But it also needs to be reminded. So the person that you once was in that snapshot, that image of you, needs that information from your future self. It needs to have that feedback loop to know that it's going to be okay. Look how far I've come. So it's at this point in time, I'm thinking, they said maybe that's an exercise that those who hear this can do this. You know, find that snapshot of yourself when you go back in time of, you know, what was going on for you at the time. How did you feel about life? What did you think you couldn't accomplish? You know, or about a relationship or whatever it is. And then when you are here now in your journey, looking back and seeing how far you've come, look at that journey. You need to feed that back to that younger part of yourself to say you did it, you achieved it. You know, you achieved your mission, because this is what's going to be important right now on your planet. Thank you. Is about your mission and your purpose. It's like looking at why you are here, and part of that exercise of looking back at that snapshot is going to give you some evidence of why you are here, sort of the purpose, you know, the reason why you were created at this time. Thank you. So there's these big shifts, this big energy shift on the planet, where so many individuals have begun to be aware that there is more, and that of their own personal journey of where they're at. Thank you. They just sort of, they're saying to me, there is this, there has been, thank you, there has been a massive disconnection with your paying attention to yourself, being tuned into yourself, being tuned into your body, being tuned into your energy, being mindful of those around you, you know, whether it's partners or families or friendships or colleagues or work. This is the time to look at that, as in, what's that brought to the table? What's been happening for you? Who are, you know, who are the individuals that have been in your life, and what have they brought up for you? What is it that you've been learning from them? What is the teachings of that? That's going to be very poignant as we move forward into this new year coming, because it's looking at what is it now you need and you want. So this is a great time of looking at what did that bring you. So, you know, I look at a past relationship I had. What were the teachings from that? What is it I learned? It's not about blaming. It's not a blame game for that toxicity or how I felt it was, because the individual I was in the relationship with is not going to think or feel the same way. And plus there's too much of that negative energy attached to it. Whereas if we look at what was the teachings that I learned, what was coming up for me, what was I being shown about myself, so that then I can move forward. And that's been some of the information being brought up today with some clients, that because of their journeys, their relationship with family members, relationship with partners, one individual, there's a repeating pattern coming up for her, and she asked me today, why do I keep attracting the same person into my life? Why is it the same partner? You know, how I'm being treated. And I said, it looks like there's some work to be done on what is the teachings in that. So if we look back at those past relationships, what did that relationship teach you? And when we look back at 5 different relationships, they all were how she felt they were treating her in a certain way, but she hadn't addressed it and hadn't made any changes as she moved forward. So now when I sat with her today in session, because she worked through those teachings that she learned, we could call them lessons, but teachings from that relationship, all those relationships, today it was a bit of a aha moment. The light bulb went on and you could see it, and she was like, oh, that's never going to happen again. And because she acknowledged that, it will never happen again. So it's where you're at on your journey right now. It's sort of sitting with it, and you can do this at any point, but it's that time to sort of look at what's been happening for you this year, what's been occurring, what is it you want to make changes in this as you move forward. So that seems to be very important, what they keep saying at the moment, because the energy of each and every one of you is creating this shift. So as a collective, you're changing the energy on the planet. So each and every one of you that, you who are hearing this, you are creating a change on the planet because of your awareness and how you're seeing the world and how you're seeing your life, and the difference you're making to yourself, also to those around you. So you are part of that wave of change. So it's really important. And, as they just said, thank you, the disconnection from yourself, the disconnection as in, getting caught up in thinking and feeling, thinking and feeling that others know best for you. That's not necessarily true, and masking those emotions and feelings. That's going to be really important as you move forward, really to tune in to what it is that you are feeling or hearing. So, and it's interesting because that a lot of clients are coming to me at the moment about ancestral, going back, where there's been something that's repeating pattern that's coming up, that's been moving through it, and that something's happened and it's been held on, and these core beliefs come in. I had this with the client today, a lovely young lady, and her mother and her beliefs, what's happened to her, and it moved forward into her. So yes, so what happens is there's not, thank you, they just said, there's no mistake why you're born into a family. Remember this soul pod, and it's already lined up, thank you. It's a bit like, they always show me like a web. It's in different directions going off. There's no mistake why we're born into these families. And the reason to bring you into families, because in a way, if a friend did something to us that we were uncomfortable with or we weren't happy with, we cut the ties off a lot quicker than if it was a family member. It always emotionally plays out. We sort of try to make it work. So the biggest issues are always going to be with the family, because it's like you can't escape them, because it's what you need to deal with. It's something that runs through your blood. It's that connection that's sort of in your DNA. And if there is something that happens to somebody going all the way back, whatever line of the family it comes from, there is like a repeating pattern. So psychologically, there might be something, as in there's a belief that runs through the vein of the family. Yes, it could be that, but it's more than that, because we know, with the brain and how it sees things and does things and how we behave, it creates an energy. So everything is an energy. So how we might be feeling fearful or scared or happy, organ-wise, our organ, our physiology, we're going to create some sort of energy source around us. It's going to happen. And then when we look at the spiritual energy of that travels through it as well. So it's not a mistake that you were put into that family, because there was something that you need to overcome as well. And by you overcoming it, it feeds back like a ripple effect going all the way back through the family. But you needed to be born into that family because it was a teaching, a lesson that you needed to learn. And your family in that scenario, that situation, was the perfect family to be putting you into it. So by you making a change, by you being mindful, being aware of this, because what I'm being told is your journey as a therapist and the work that you go on to do to work with other women and other clients, that you've encountered something that your family line, the females, have gone through it. So that makes you the prime candidate, the best person for the job, by you doing the healing on yourself. that then the family gets that healing effect backwards, because it won't continue to move forward anymore. It doesn't need to repeat anymore. It's done, it's finished. So when you said, does it affect them in their afterlife? It helps their soul. It helps their soul to move forward, because it's part of the teachings that they need to learn too. So whatever you learn, like today when I'm with my clients, and it happens every time I'm with my clients, when I'm tuning into my client, they're family members in spirit that can feel the emotions of their loved one communicating with me. And then if there's some healing done, like the gentleman today, when I was talking to him, and he was saying about his father was saying to me that, you know, he was quite domineering, aggressive with his son. Because they're having that conversation with each other, it's now helped him on a soul level to move on. And the same with like the question you asked about your ancestors, it helps them to move on. So in their next lifetimes, they're not going to repeat the same thing, because it's part of the healing that's helping them to move forward. So yes, you're correct. So the work that you are doing now as you move forward, it's a ripple effect, like dominoes. You knock down one domino, then they all fall backwards, and they fall the other way too. Because we don't, in reality, we don't sort of, it's not linear. Time is not linear. So it's a multiverse. So everything that you're going through right now, it's helping sort of the past, as in their timelines, and it's helping their future timelines too. And you're doing that through your awareness of what you're doing. So yeah, massive changes. Love that. With shadow work, it just, like, if we think of a shadow as in it's maybe behind us, it's like putting it behind us, or when we walk, it's always there hanging around, it's part of us. So shadow work is something that's part of us that we may not want to look at, and we don't want to put the light on it, we don't want to see it, or something we're fearful of or afraid of. Shadow work is very much about those issues that we might have gone through, or something we might want to keep secret, or something that the family's kept secret, or something that we are not ready to address yet, or that other part of ourselves that, you know, we might feel ashamed of, or whatever it is, or something we just want to put aside, that we don't want to see ourselves as that victim or something. So that shadow self is that stuff we don't bring into the light in front of everybody. So something we keep to ourselves, that privacy sort of thing. So that's the shadow work. And shadow work connected to families, connected to ourselves, you know, that's part of who we are. And we need to have that contrast. We have to, as part of being human, how we learn. So working in the shadow work, working to deal with it, you know, having that knowledge of, you know, what is my shadow self. But when you work with that, it helps you then to move forward. Now, what you had said about, you know, just by knowing something, does that help to clear it? Does that help to heal it? Does that sort of, you know, help in that way? My findings is that if you are doing the personal work on it, meaning you're aware there's something that's keeping you stuck, knowing that actually if you are, I don't know, seeing a therapist or a counsellor or a coach, or you're working through it, whatever the issue is, that's called doing the work. Whether you're journaling it, whether you're bringing it out and sort of like communicating through your journal, as in what's happened to you, how you felt about an individual, that's dealing with, that's working with it. And we've got to remember, you know, it's not that we give thanks to that individual person, sort of say, you know, I thank them for treating me that horrible. You know, I might say that about my abusive stepdad, or, you know, that's not about saying, well, thank you for abusing me. It's not about that. It's more about that, the experience that you've gone through, and by working through the experience and knowing what's come to light, and it's forgiving that individual. Now again, it's not forgiving them sort of in a sense of, oh, I forgive my stepfather for doing that. It's not that. If you hold on to it, it becomes more of that darker shadow stuff, you know, that it doesn't do you any good. For me, I've had to forgive quite a few individuals going back, because that was the only way that I could move forward, is to let go of it, because it will weigh you down like an anchor. So it's more about, I forgive that individual at that particular time. Maybe they didn't know any different, or maybe they did, but I'm not part of that journey. I don't want to be part of that. I want to grow and learn from that. I know from all my experiences, it's made me a better person. I know that I can serve others. I can put myself in somebody else's shoes from some of the experiences I've had. And so I take it more as I've turned it around. I've turned it around, spun it around, and well, what have I learned from this? As a child, I felt dirty. There was lots of clients I see who've been had child abuse and how they feel in themselves, or if you've had a toxic relationship as an adult. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. So it's not that you have to have that conversation. I can't have a conversation with my ex and sort of say, thank you for being so horrible to me, because that's not going to help anyone, and he's not learned anything from that. But it's like I give thanks for the lessons I learnt in that relationship about myself. And I also knew that I was taking part of it. I was, it takes two people to have a relationship. So if you allow someone to treat you that way, they're going to continue that way. So I had to step up and go, right, I don't want to be treated like this anymore. But I had to find that in myself. I had to look at how worthy or how much I thought about myself. I had to do that personal development on myself. So if someone's going through something and they've got an issue with a family member or, a partner, it's like, if they aren't going, you can't address it necessarily with them all the time. It's that yourself, what is it you're allowing to happen? Because you have to take responsibility for it. So you don't necessarily have to speak to the individual person, especially if they're not on the same wavelength as you and they don't have that enlightenment. It's more about yourself sitting with it. What was it that I learned from the experience? What is it showing me? What's coming up for me? How do I feel about them? How do I feel about myself with them? And then you can look at other people. It might be, this is why soul pods come in, our family members. You might want to look at the relationship you have with other individuals around you. What is it showing you? For me personally, there's been a big thing about boundaries, but I know when I have some clients, people pleasers, again, when I look at what's going on in their life, why are they a people pleaser? It's how they feel, that lack of self-esteem. There's many reasons. So it's looking at the relationships, or the relationship with an individual that you're not happy with, or something that's come up for you, and you do that personal work. You don't have to necessarily engage with them, because again, how they are interpreting the world, how they've interpreted the issue, may be something totally different from how you've interpreted the issue. So it's like, you can't do the work for them, you can't change them, you can only look at yourself, feel into it, what's coming up for you, and then you addressing it and then realizing it, and then that lets go of the energy. You sort of send off a letter to them. That's a technique. You can send a letter, write a letter to them. Being, what you have learned about yourself within that relationship, or, family member or friend or partnership, what you have learned about yourself, then you can burn it and let go of it. It doesn't need to be sent to them, because they may not have that awareness of themselves. They may not be at that place right now. So it's just letting things go for yourself. Does that make sense? Good. Lovely. You're welcome. You don't necessarily need to get anyone in to do that for you, because you're not resolving the issue. You're handing it over to somebody else to deal with the problem. So it's more about yourself, the awareness of what you were just saying to me about this, this link that moves forward, that rolling forward of the ties of not having children or wanting to have children by a certain age or whatever it is, that you're saying now that your son moving forward, that he might do the same thing. It's not about that. It's going to be his choice. That's where you get the free will from. Every human has free will and choice. Sometimes it may not feel like that for individuals, but you have that. So it's more about you looking at yourself. It's that acknowledgement of, you just said, like, repeating the same pattern, and you're worried about your son repeating the same pattern. But it's not about getting someone in to cut it professionally. It's more about you sitting with it and how it makes you feel. And it means that your son needs to look at it and how it makes him feel. It's not your job to do that for him. You have to do it for yourself. It's more whether you have to sit with yourself, whether there's grieving or forgiveness or whatever it is, but something that you need to sit with. And then that breaks the link with you. And then let him break the link with himself if he wants to do that. That's a road that he has to take. It has to be that acknowledgement. It has to be that enlightenment to it. You can't do that for him. And definitely a professional. I mean, the only time I'd get a professional in is if there's attachment in, if there's an attachment that you can't deal with it, so if there's an entity attachment, this is what I'm talking about energy wise, but otherwise cutting cords is a job that you have to do. Because there's no shortcuts to that. There's something that you've got to look at, your energy. About the new beginnings as we move forward, it's about us finding our location. Where does it feel home? That's going to be really important as we move forward. We've got to look at where does it feel home for us, whether it's a different country, a different house, different home, a different relationship. But this is going to be really important as you move forward, because the more that you guys are in tune, the more that you're looking at what brings you joy, you're going to be so connected, so it will really help you as you move forward. Because next year is not about, if we are disconnected, next year you're going to really feel the brunt of it. This is going to be really important. So those who are not connected intuitively, those who don't know what brings them joy, you're going to find it the most uncomfortable. Because next year is going to be about, I've got to find my joy. Where do I find my joy? What location is that? It's going to be in my job. Is it going to be in my home environment? Is it going to be in my relationships? And that's what this year has been teaching all of us, is we got to make some changes. And if you're not ready, next year, it's going to feel so much discord, being in the wrong environment, the wrong relationship, the wrong family, the wrong location. It's going to feel harder. So it's about really connecting, as in, what is it that I want as I move forward? When do we know divine timing, and when do we know when to stop pushing or to push? Okay, this is so perfect, because next year is the year you're gonna really feel it. This year's been a bit difficult, I know. 2025 for all of us, it's about like uncomfortability, gotta make some changes. Relationships have been ending, family situations have been changing, jobs have been changing, a lot been going on. Finances as well, because finances, the way that humans, we put it on the pedestal frequency energy wise, and it's like, if anything happens with the finances, my God, we sort of crumble. And I understand because we live in a 3D world, of course. So, okay. It's all mapped out. Okay, so all I can say is it's all mapped out. So your soul plan of your soul coming to planet Earth is no mistake, as in the timing that you came here at this particular time. And it's all mapped out. So again, with the ancestral line, what's going on in the families, the core beliefs, moving forward, we're bringing that forward, repeating patterns. We've got all that going on as well. But this is the time that those who are really in tune, has been working with the intuition, working with the psychic abilities, working on that side of things, which I know you personally have, and with the energy, this is your time now that you've built your frequency so high, it's ready for more. Okay, and it's easy to sit there and go, oh, divine timing, but what that really means is that your energy has got to be up to speed. Your frequency has got to be at that point. It's got to be that you know yourself better, and you personally do, because I can feel the energy. There's a number of you sitting here. I know you've done the work on yourself. I know that you know what feels right for you. I know a lot of you are tuning into spirit guides. I know a lot of you tune into your higher self. Your higher self is always trying to guide you, and it's getting you to that point where it feels more uncomfortable if you don't make the changes than if you just sit there and go, oh no, I'm just going to sit here for a bit while I'm a bit scared. I don't know what I need to do. That is going to be more uncomfortable than if you just listen to your higher self, and your higher self sort of poking your shoulder, go, yeah, this is time. You've got to make that move. And it can be scary because we might not know what the next leap of faith is, the next step. Where do we go? And there's that fine balance. We go, okay, I'll wait for the divine timing. I'll just sit here and wait. It's like, what are you waiting for? Because divine timing, I tell you now, if you don't take up that opportunity, before you know it, you get slapped. And it's like, okay, you've not missed your opportunity, but you have to wait again for the next cycle. So what I'm saying is the cycle is coming again. The recycling it's on there. So it's a lot about that energy moving forward next year. So if you get the nudge that you feel, and we're talking not about the brain, the mind that's telling us what to do, because mind is going to come from the subconscious. It's going to come from all the old beliefs. It's going to think that I have to do this to make this amount of money, and blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's more about the heart center. So when you tune in, and I know you personally, you're very connected, your psychic mediumship skills, the more that you are tuned in and using those abilities, you're working with your guides who are very connected to your higher self. Your higher self is trying to constantly give you information. Your higher self is part of the divine timing. The higher self goes, it's time, it's time. If you wait around to sort of say, I'm not too sure, I think I'll wait until to see if it says it again, you then go in another cycle. And again, it becomes very uncomfortable. Now, with divine timing, it's the universe that works with your energy. So it's about you keeping optimum energy. It's a bit like when we have a car, we need it to be serviced. It's like if you leave that car on the drive, or it gets rusty, or you don't put the petrol in, or you don't get it serviced, we are very similar to that. We are a vessel that's holding the soul. So when I mean servicing it like a vehicle, I would say it's about tuning in regularly. It's about taking that time to do your meditation so you can connect to your guides, to connect to your higher self. It's being mindful of the information you are receiving. Some people dismiss information coming in about their bodies, or about their food they're eating, or about their friends they have in their location, or about partners. I know personally you've done the work on yourself. So with divine timing, it's there. Your higher self has worked with the universe, is lining everything up. And the more that you feel uncomfortable about not doing it, that's the time to do it. And I know that's really now. You can't avoid it. So it's about, got to take that leap of faith. And it might be that you don't know, you might feel a bit like you're blindfolded at the moment and don't know exactly where it's going to lead you to. And that's the moment. Because if you know exactly where it's going, that means you're working with your brain and your mind. And there are restrictions there. Where if you take that leap of faith and you go, I'm really nervous, I'm really scared, I don't know what's coming next, it's like I feel blindfolded, that's when that's divine timing. Everything starts coming your way, because it's like you're ready, you know, you're freeing yourself. It's not, well, if that happens, I'll do this. It's not that. It's like, I trust, I believe my higher self is holding that space for me. I'm just going to go for it. And then when you're at that frequency, the universe goes, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that. Take it. You got to say yes to everything. When our minds feel that we have to create something, if there's no energy around it, if we're doing it because we're thinking logistically, well, this will bring money in, or this will give me clients, or this will make me happy, or this blah blah blah, we're coming from the mind. Whereas if we have a very strong feeling, as in, oh my god, I want to go create that, it will naturally start happening. That's when the divine timing comes in. The opportunities arise. The divine timing is about that you're in the same energy frequency as in what's coming to you. So you have to match the energy frequency. So what you need to do is look at, how do you raise your frequency? How do you take that time out for you? How do you be in that moment? And this is not about distracting yourself. This is about sitting comfortably in yourself. When you can sit comfortably in yourself, that also is part of raising your energy frequency. And when you raise your energy frequency, it then changes everything around you. Because remember, you're a bit like a magnet. We're all like magnets. We attract in where we're at in our journey. So we are constantly sending a vibration around us in our energy field. And when we match that high frequency, it's just there. It comes to you. It's the divine time of it. It comes in when it's meant to happen. Those individual people who come in at that particular time, the job opportunities, the career prospects, clients come in, it all comes in. And that means you've got to look at your own energy. So when we get tied up in our heads, that can bring down our frequency mode, because it's like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Can I do this? And then we go into self-doubt sometimes. So it's really about going, okay, I'm going to keep tuning into my heart. I think it was it yesterday or the other day? I turned around, was it Friday? I can't remember now. But yeah, I think it was Friday that I turned around and went, my brain was going, you should be working on, you've got so much admin, you've got to do this, you've got to do it. And there was so much admin. And I want to create some projects. And I'm like, I should be working on that. And then part of me was like, do you know what? What does Anne really want to do? Anne just wants to watch an old movie. So I sat and watched an old movie, and the energy in my heart was like, oh, it reminds me like Iron Man. Iron Man has that glow there in his heart. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. And I watched the old movie. It was a black and white movie. And then I watched a history program, and I'm a history buff. And I was like going, oh my God, I love this. I got more energy out of that. I was really charged. And then sitting in my office doing paperwork. And from that, there was these things that came in, some offers, some work, and some other things that came up. And I was like, oh my God. Whereas if I'd been sitting in my office and like really working hard, would the energy have come in from those opportunities? No, because I'm not then at the same frequency. So to get those opportunities to move forward in that direction, we've got to manage our own energy. We've got to look at as in what fires me up. And if that means me watching an old black and white movie, if that means me watching, you know, a history program on London, then that's fine. But I was like radiating, and then all these opportunities came in. I was like, this is brilliant. And that's divine timing because it matched my energy frequency. And that's where we need to just focus, maintaining, you know, what we love to do. It's not being selfish. We've been taught it's selfish to look at that. That's a load of BS. We need to just look at what makes us happy. That's what we need to do, because it's our soul journey where we're not meant to be here looking at the, you know, the doom and gloom of making money or that house. If that comes from it, that's fine, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at our soul purpose, our mission, why we're here, our personal relationship with ourselves. That's why we're meant to be here. The amount of times I hear from spirit, and you know, I always say 11,500, I'm sure it's got more than that now, 11,500 sittings I've done, and every time someone's come forward in spirit, it's like, tell them life's just too short. It's about, they got to have fun, they got to have laughter, you know, they got to look at that energy of themselves. Don't overcook it, don't overthink it. Okay, brilliant question. I love this, and I love the fact you know I was coming to you. So that's going to make us feel a little bit wobbly energy wise. So when our gatekeepers are changing over, when our spirit guides are changing over, and remember, with your gatekeeper, it's very much about your energy of who you are, so how you're working. So you know, I was having this conversation today with someone. When a gatekeeper feels that energy shift, it means they need to shift up. So I was sort of saying, in the early days, the gatekeeper for me was half human, half man, and that was fine. The energy was fine, you know, silent type, whatever. Now I feel like it's like a huge office block that I have of a gatekeeper that comes in just because the work that I do, but because they need to hold my space for me, need to protect my energy, need to be around me. But as you are changing, your gatekeepers change, and then your guides are changing because you have done the work. You're learning about psychic mediumship. You're working with all that energy shift. So your guides are going, oh, okay, is it our turn? We're coming in. We're going to work with her now. And oh no, it's going to be my turn because her energy shifted. So it will feel a bit unsettled for a while. So you need to, you know, be kind to yourself. Let it balance out a little bit more, the energy. Just continue with your work. Thank you. And they just said, also your patients, your clients will teach you as well. So you'll get different clients in, you'll get different experiences in. So we'll be formulating, thinking, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to create? But that's where you're supposed to be at right now. So that's good. That's good vibe energy. But don't have to overthink and go, oh my God, I've got to have the answer, because it's not ready right this minute. They just, it's like taking a cake out of an oven. It's not ready yet, love. Not ready. Let me expand. Okay. They're laughing, and not laughing at you, but yes, the soul is, it's like it's a bit like cells in a petri dish, you know, where they expand and they evolve and, you know, they grow and everything. And maybe that's not a great example, but with the soul, it wants to expand, it wants to evolve, it becomes conscious of itself, it needs to grow, and that's why it needs to occupy a human vessel so that it can have those physical experiences, you know, like the senses, that you, the touch, the feel, the taste, heartache. It needs to have all those experiences, it needs to travel through that, because that's how it expands, that's how it grows, it goes through those cycles. It needs to do that, and those cycles may be many lifetimes. It also may be in one lifetime there's many cycles that you go through, like you were saying, that repeating stuff that comes up, and then looking at sort of different scenarios, and you know, with the brain thinking, okay, you know, maybe I don't want to live here anymore, maybe I need to move away and stuff. But it's about that. Remember, your guides are connected to your higher self. So it's our higher self is always trying to communicate with us. Our higher self is trying to build that connection with us. But we've lived in a world where there's been a bit of a disconnection from that. So we've lived in a world where we've gone through fear and everything else, wars and stuff, that it always feels that it's not down to us to make the decision. So connecting to your higher self is really about empowering yourself to know actually is your decision. So learning about intuition, psychic abilities, energy work is about bringing it all together and having that connection with yourself, sort of really tuning into that, to have a great understanding that actually you're the one that's changing your life around you. You're the one that is going to make the differences in your life. It's not somebody else. But again, as I say, on the planet Earth, we've had situations where there's been wars and other things that's happened, the pandemic over the years, that we have felt so fearful that we've relied on somebody else to tell us what to do. Whereas actually we need to come back to ourselves and know what is it that we want to do, our personal self. That's part of our soul evolution. Now, by saying that, the soul comes to the planet any given time to learn certain situations and certain things that's going on. So we were meant to be born at this particular time. We were meant to be having these experiences. We're meant to have met those partners. We're meant to have come from those families. We're meant to have, you know, been controlled to some degree by others, for us to realise that, no, we don't want to be controlled, or we, you know, we have our own sovereignty. We must manage ourselves. It's about ourselves doing that. And with our guides, when things happen for us or to us, when something happens, our guides are just trying to show us the pathway, trying to be by our side like guardian angels. You know, we have them interacting with us. You know, they're by our side trying to help give us some direction. But at the end of the day, it's your awareness of a situation. Earlier we was talking about a situation about forgiveness, or, you know, what happens if you're aware of a scenario and it keeps repeating itself and something that's happening. It's about your own awareness. It's about your conscious awareness of a situation. If it's a relationship and it's failed, it's about you having that insight into, why did it happen? What led you into that relationship in the first place? Who was you in that relationship? Who was you before that relationship? Who was you as you were changing? Because the interaction with your partner at that time would have changed too, and so you changed. So it's the contrast we receive. So, you know, if it's not a relationship for somebody, it's the contrast we receive in life. It's like that's showing us who we really are. And we have to have the experience. We have to go through that experience for us to know what it is we do want and what we don't want. That's not going to change. So it's really important for you to be aware of it. It's about you are part of the program. It's not that you're the bystander or looking in at it. You are part of that program that's happening. So yes, you have to have your experiences so that you then can make your decision. It is the free will. You know, archangels cannot intervene unless you ask them and unless they're, you know, your life is at stake, you know. You know, I say, for instance, Archangel Michael, when, you know, the van hit me, I heard that inner voice. It sounded like my nan's voice, sort of redirecting me. I wasn't meant to die, so in a sense of my head being severed through the windscreen, it was meant for me to change direction. But I have to have that free will for me to experience it. I had to be disabled for 4 years. I had to learn to rewalk. I had to learn that I was stronger than I thought I was before. And so when we're in these relationships or whatever's happened to us, or financial, you know, crisis, it's learning that how we move through it. It's not always about the goal at the end of it. It's about how we're moving through a situation. Is about, that's where we find our strength, how we managing it, what's going on for us, what do we need. So yes, our guides are directing us, guiding us, as if we, you know, you go to a castle or a museum, guides are going to show you certain things, but whatever you take in is whatever you're interested in learning. So that comes down to you and the free will. Does that answer your meditation is just taking a moment just for yourself, and just gently being mindful of your eyes, closing your eyes. It closes out the outside world. It brings you internal, and just so it's easier to receive information, so the mind doesn't judge it. And just following your breath as you allow your breath to flow through your physical body. Allow that interaction with yourself and your environment around you. As you're breathing in and breathing out, you're just feeling the air as it flows around you, and then flows internally and externally around you too. Just be mindful, visualizing that breath as it comes in through the nose, drops down through the throat, breathing out whenever you're ready, and just allowing yourself just to breathe in and out naturally for yourself. So that connection. Be mindful where you are resting right now, whether you are laying or sitting, feeling into the energy of the space around you. You may hear some sounds around you. Bring them in internally and drop them into the physical body. Sort of digesting them, just coming in with that breath. Whenever you breathe out, you just be mindful that you are stretching out, expanding your energy field. You're expanding out, you're connecting to the energy fields around you. It's almost as if that you feel that flow of energy moving through your physical body, in and out, just like your breath, just as if you become like that jellyfish of energy, moving through time and space. You're allowing the energy field around you. It's almost as if there's this beautiful membrane that's just formulating around you, the iridescent light just shimmering around you. Just feel that, almost as if that light is flowing through your physical body, almost as if it's feeling as if it's coming through the top of your head, that white light of energy. It might feel a little bit fuzzy, it might feel warm, it might feel tingly, whatever it is for yourself. As you're breathing in and as you're breathing out, feeling how the energy moves around your physical form. And as you feel that light energy moving in your physical body, feeling it as if it moves down through the trunk of your body, coming down through the base of your spine, feeling almost as if it sits in the pelvis region and flows down, all the way down, flows down through your legs, just like a tree, as if you can feel those roots through the soles of your feet. You're embedding them within the earth, Mother Earth, allowing yourself to almost feel that connection through those root system, as if as you're breathing in, as you're breathing out, it feels as if the energy of the earth around you, the roots from the tree, almost as if you can smell the earth and the leaves, feeling into the warmth of the energy of the interior world around you. Feeling as if that soil, that your roots are expanding deeper down, that as your energy moves down, you can feel yourself feeling grounded, as that energy feeling almost as if that tingling sensation of it gently rises up through your roots into the soles of your feet, and almost as if you can imagine how it feels like, just like a tree as it drinks up the moisture in the earth, it flows up through your physical legs and through your base of your spine. It's almost as if as it moves up in your in-breath, you're drawing up the energy through your spinal column. And as it moves up through the back of your back and through the spinal column, it feels almost as if the energy is moving up and moving down, freely flowing through your arms, through your fingertips, almost like a buzzing sensation, the sensation that's touching the membrane of the earth around you. It feels almost as if you're in that realm of time and space, this dimension, that if you just gently, in your mind's eye, that you were stretching out your arms like the tree branches, you can almost feel the fingertips as it penetrates through the thin membrane of this dimension of time and space. It's almost as if the past you can feel on your fingertips through one hand and the future through the other hand, and just almost feel as if there's this balance of who you are as it comes back into the energy through the trunk of your body into your heart center, feeling that balance, that anchoring. It just feels that there, that strength, that strong tree, as if it's ancient and wise and it has the history flowing through it, the wisdom, the knowledge. And as you are there now, feeling that strength, as if you are like that tree, that strong tree, you can feel as if you're expanding yourself up and outwards through those top branches. And as you move up through the top of your head, feeling that connection, as if you're open now even more than you were before. It feels as if that you are like the tentacles of an octopus stretching out into the universe, touching, feeling, sensing the sensations of other portals and dimensions around you. Feeling the energy of love and light that comes through. Just being mindful and aware that as we gently ask if there's any guides around us or spiritual loved ones, that they gently step forward, that you allow them to come in closer into this energy stream around you, almost as if they're breathing into that space, whether they're animals or humans, you're allowing them to intermingle with your energy field. It's almost as if their wisdom, that wiseness, that knowledge that they're implanting upon you, that they are there by your side. They're bringing information in. Information that you may have longed for before. And just like the reflection of yourself in a mirror, it's almost as if you can see an outline of a reflection of life, of how you are going to step forward and seeing what's to come. Seeing that imagery of yourself as you move forward into the future of everything that you've ever wished for, as your soul's here on this journey. Just being mindful of what it is that you wish to come. How do you wish to see your life? What changes do you want around you? Are there certain individuals you want in place? Is there finances and the energy stream around you that matches up with that? Or the opportunities or gifts that have been provided to you? Just tune into that now, of maybe seeing yourself as you step forward in the future self, seeing everything that belongs to you, seeing your wealth of abundance, of friendship, money, finances, opportunities, loved ones, whatever it is that you see that you wish for yourself in the future, wishing you to step forward into it now and really feeling it, hearing it, seeing it, tasting it. Be mindful what's around you. What is it that you see? Almost as if that your arm is stretched out in front of you. It's just there at the fingertips, just feeling it, that energy. Feeling it, breathing it, bringing it in, bringing that energy closer. So close to you. It's almost as if it doesn't feel as if it's the future self. It feels as if it's now. Embodying it. Almost feels as if that sensation, just like walking through a cloud and you're there. You see a cloud in the distance, you walk closer, and then before you know it, you're just there. You're just at that point of where you thought you would be in the future, but that's actually here right now. All those changes around you, all those sensations, all those individuals that you wish to meet or connect with, or the abundance just there in your hands. You can just feel it, taste it, feel the energy of that frequency around you. It's like as if it moves through your cells. You're absorbing everything that you've ever wished for. It's just there. And what keeps you apart is your mind, or thinking what you thought it was going to look like, when really it was already there. Just allowing yourself to be eloped within the energy field. Allowing yourself to taste it, to touch it, to feel it, to sense it, to know it, to hear it. Bringing it in closer, as if you're walking closer to it, as it walks closer to you. There is no separation. Separation only comes from the mind of looking at what you thought you didn't have, when really it's already there. It's already there, but maybe it's not in the shape and form of what you were looking for. You're living, you're eating, you're breathing it right now, but maybe again, the mind of what it thought that it wasn't there. And with that energy frequency of receiving, be mindful of what it is around you, of how it feels to be where you thought it was that you was going to be. And in that space, bringing it in, as already it's time stamping it in your energy stream. You're on a cellular basis of upgrading that information. And as you're there in this space right now, being mindful of what it is, that frequency of how it feels in your heart. Gently asking our guides to step away. And gently becoming more aware of our energy stream. And as you allow that energy to flow back down through your head, programming the mind, the circuitry of what it is, the how it may show up or what it may look like, just going with the flow of what you will receive. And as the energy drops down through the central core of your body, bring it back down from all the cells, the muscles, the nerve endings, back down through the trunk of your body. And it, just like a tree, as the buds begin to close on the leaves, your tree, the branches, comes back into your physical self. And as you allow your energy to drop back down and anchor in through the root system, becoming aware of the earth as you re-engage, as in bringing back up your energy streaming back into yourself. And on the count of 3, I will begin to bring you back into this space and bringing back all the energy, the wisdom, what you saw, felt or heard or sensed coming to breathe into energy. 1, to be mindful of your breath. 2, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And 3, take a nice deep breath in. Release gently. Come back, wherever you've been, come back into this space. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Some of you have gone off quite far. Hopefully you're back, you've re-engaged your physical self. Take a little sip of a drink if you have it nearby to come back into your physical self. Excellent.